Good morning, girls. Children, we are continuing the exercises of the chapter Magnetic Effect of Electric Current. And today I will take up some in text questions. In the previous week, also, I had taken some questions from within the chapter. So let's begin with page number 229, question number 2. The magnetic field in a given region is uniform. Draw a diagram to represent it. Okay, now you know that there are two types of magnetic field lines, uniform and non uniform. The magnetic field lines which are uniform will be always parallel to each other. They will be equidistant from each other and they will always be pointing in the same direction. Okay, so let's draw the figure. This is how we have to, these parallel lines will be the magnetic field. These will be the magnetic field lines. Because they are uniform, there will be three properties. Number one, they are parallel to each other. Then number two, obviously the parallel lines are always equidistant. So we will write they are equidistant. Equidistant from each other. Then number three, always point in the same direction. Okay. And how will you draw the figure? How will you represent them? You will show them with the parallel lines. Okay, so this is how you're going to show the magnetic field lines which are uniform, parallel, equidistant from each other, and they are always pointing in the same direction. Next question is, which of the following, this is page 231, question number 1. Which of the following property of the proton will change when it is freely moving in a magnetic field? Now there are four options given. I repeat the question. Which of the following property of the which of the following property of the proton will change when it is moving in a it is moving in a magnetic field? Now when it is moving freely, mass will not change. Obviously mass will not change, which we can have two options also over here. If the velocity will change, then the momentum will change. Okay, so the answer will be velocity as well as momentum. You know, momentum is equal to mass into velocity. Okay, now speed means only magnitude of the motion, right? Velocity means speed as well as direction. So when the object is moving freely, it can change its speed, it can change its direction also, and if there is a change in velocity, there will be a change in momentum. So there are two options. This is the second option and this is the fourth option. So both are correct. Okay, this is from the textbook, page number 231. Now coming to the next question. Coming to the next set of questions we have here. State Fleming's left hand rule. Now state Fleming's left hand rule. What do? You stretch the thumb, forefinger and the middle finger or the center finger, right? This is page number 233. Okay. Page 233, question 1 says, state the Fleming's left hand rule. You have to stretch three fingers, and you know how we stretch the three fingers? They are mutually perpendicular to each other. When we stretch the three fingers in such a way that they are mutually perpendicular, forefinger, you have to remember forefinger, thumb, and the center finger. When I was explaining you this rule, I had told you some points to remember. Center finger. So therefore, the forefinger will show the magnetic field. Okay, and I told you how will you remember? F with F. Yes. Then the center finger will always show the what? Direction of the current. Okay, and what is the thumb going to show? direction of the motion or the force which is acting on the conductor. Okay, so I repeat, when we stretch the forefinger, thumb and the center finger of our left hand, this is Fleming's left hand rule, the forefinger will show the direction of what? The magnetic field. The center finger will always show the direction of the current, and the thumb will show the direction of the force which is acting on the conductor, or we can also say the motion of the conductor. Okay, so these 3 points you have to remember for Fleming's left hand rule. Next question is, what is a principle of electric motor? What is a principle of electric motor? You know, before studying electric motor, we studied the force acting on a conductor, on a current carrying conductor, which is placed in a magnetic field. Okay, so we will write the principle of electric motor is that when a current carrying conductor is placed in a magnetic field, a force act on it. Okay, and that force can be taken out by the direction of the force can be taken out by the Fleming's left hand rule. So this is what you're going to write for the principle. Third one is, what is the role of the split rings in the electric motor? You know, electric motor, we have split rings. What are split rings? Split rings are the halves of the two rings. Split rings are the halves of the two rings, and they are shown like this way, right? They are joined, halves of the two rings, they are joined. Now we call these as commutator. You have studied electric motor and you know what is a commutator. So split rings in the electric motor, split rings act as commutator because it changes the direction. Instead of changes, I am going to write reverses. It changes or reverses the direction of the current. Yes, changes the direction of the flow of current after every half a cycle. We have studied this. So we can just write that split rings in the electric motor act as a commutator because it reverses or changes the direction of the flow of current after every half rotation. Yes, so this is what the function or the working of the split rings. They act as a commutator, and what is a commutator? It changes or reverses the direction of the flow of current after every half a rotation. Okay, now next question. I'll turn the page and see what is the next question given. Here we don't have any question. Explain different ways to induce the current in a coil. Okay, when we were studying, means before electric generator, children, we have studied electromagnetic induction. Okay, so this is page number 236. Question number 1, ways to induce the current. Ways to induce the current in a coil. Okay, now number 1, what is the first way we can induce the current in the coil? We have to rotate the coil. Okay, by rotating the coil in a magnetic field. This is one way. Now I told you before also that it is not necessary that we always have to keep rotating the coil. We can also keep rotating the magnet. Means we can keep the magnet in motion. So number one will be by rotating the coil in the magnetic field, and that means it is between the poles of the magnet. If you want, you can write between the poles of the magnet. Okay, I hope children you are understanding. If you have learned the chapter, then only you will understand these points. So by rotating the coil in a magnetic field, and how is the magnetic field generated? Between the keeping the poles, and in between the poles we keep the coil. This is one point. Then the second point is by keeping we will keep by keeping the coil stationary. Stationary means we are not moving the coil now. By keeping the coil stationary and now moving the magnet, okay, now moving the magnet inside it. Okay, you remember this is a coil and this is a magnet. Now if I keep on bringing this magnet inside the coil, this will also be one way of inducing the current. Okay, and there is one more way we can induce the current by changing the current continuously. You remember that activity in which two coils are there, so that point can also be included here, that by changing the current continuously in another coil which is kept near it. Okay, that means one coil has already means it is already, the current is induced in that, the current is flowing through one coil, and this coil is kept near the coil 1 or coil 2. Then also we can continuously induce the current in the primary coil or secondary coil. You know what children, what I am saying? See, if this is one coil and this is another coil, this activity we have studied, that if the current flowing in one coil changes, obviously the current in this also will get affected. So if we are continuously changing the current in one coil, okay, definitely the coil which is kept near it, the induced current will get affected, or we can say that we can induce current in this secondary coil. Okay, if you don't if you are not following this, you can go through that activity once again. This is A and this is B. So this is a primary coil and secondary coil. If you want to induce current in this coil, we have to continuously change the current which is flowing in this coil. This will affect the coil B. Okay, this is one way of inducing the current. There are three ways total three ways. Next, state the principle of electric generator. What is electric generator? Generator is a device which converts which energy? Mechanical energy into electrical energy. And what is the principle? The principle of electric generator is that it works on the principle of electromagnetic induction. Now what is electromagnetic induction? Page number 237, question number 1. Okay, we can write the principle is electromagnetic induction. And what is electromagnetic induction? You can see once again that when there is a coil conductor which is placed in a magnetic field, right, as we keep on bringing this magnetic field or this magnet inside or outside the coil, the current will be induced in it, and therefore this current will be known as the induced current. This whole activity I have explained in my previous videos. You can go through them and you can understand. And what is this phenomenon called? This phenomenon is called electromagnetic induction. Okay, next, what are the sources of direct current? How do we get direct current? Now what is a direct current? Sources of the direct current. The current which always flow in one direction is called a direct current, and the current which keeps on changing uh, its uh, uh, its direction, that is called the alternating current. So if you want the sources of the direct current, it will be basically dry, means we can say the battery is a source of the direct current. Okay, then which battery? It can be a dry cell battery, it can be always a car battery, then DC generator also gives us the direct current. So we have three answers here. Dry cell, we are talking about battery. All the batteries give the direct current. Dry cell battery, car battery, DC generator are the three examples of the source of the direct current. Then the next question is, which sources produce alternating current? Sources of alternating current. Okay, now the source of alternating current are mainly the generators, which we have studied, that is the AC generator. Okay, then there are some dynamo, which is also called a bicycle dynamo, we can write. This is also producing an alternating current. Okay, so power plants, that is generators, power plants we can write. Yeah, so generator, bicycle dynamo, power plants, these are examples of the source of the electric alternating current. Next, question number 4 says that a rectangular coil of copper wire is rotated in a magnetic field. Repeat. A rectangular coil of the copper wire is rotated where? In a magnetic field. The direction of the induced current changes once in each 2 revolution, 1 revolution, half revolution, 1/4 revolution. You have studied generator, children, and you know how the rotation of the coil take place. So every half revolution, what is changing? The induced current is changing. Okay, so what is the answer over here? The answer for this will be half revolution. Okay, so these are simple questions. I have taken up only simple questions in the beginning also. The questions which I have discussed with you were very simple. Now this topic has been deleted, so there's nothing much to discuss on this. Okay, I'll take up 2-3 from here, then I'll continue tomorrow. Which of the following correctly describes a magnetic field near a long straight wire? Which of the following correctly describes a magnetic field? Straight current carrying conductor. A straight current carrying conductor. The field consists of straight lines perpendicular to the wire. The field consists of straight lines parallel to the wire. The field consists of the radial lines originating from the wire, or the field consists of concentric circles centered on the wire. The answer is this, fourth one. The field consists of the concentric circle centered on the wire. Now this activity is shown over here. Children, you have to study the chapter carefully. In the beginning of the chapter, when we are talking about the straight conductor, see, right, what type of magnetic field lines are generated? These are concentric circles. So therefore they are asking you that in a straight conductor, what type of magnetic field is generated? The answer will be concentric circles. Okay. The phenomenon of electromagnetic induction is charging a body, process of generating magnetic field due to the current passing through a coil. No. Producing induced current in a coil due to the relative motion between the magnetic field and the magnet and the coil. Correct. This is the correct answer, because as I just now showed you, look here, this is a coil, this is a magnet. When we keep on moving the magnet inside the coil, okay, the current will be induced in this coil, and this phenomenon is called electromagnetic induction, and this current is called the induced current. Okay, so this is which option is correct over here? The third option, producing induced current. Now the device which is used for producing electric current is called generator, galvanometer, ammeter, motor. The answer will be generator, because generator is a device which is producing electric current, right? Or we can say that it is converting mechanical energy into electrical energy. Galvanometer is a device which shows the deflection or which shows the presence of the current. Ammeter is a device which measures the current, and motor is a device which converts what? Electrical energy into mechanical energy. Okay. Now, the essential difference between the AC generator and the DC generator is very important. AC generator has electromagnet. DC generator has permanent magnet. No. DC generator will generate higher voltage, AC will generate higher voltage. AC generator has slip rings and DC generator has commutator. Commutator means split rings. So the fourth option is correct, that AC generator has slip rings while the DC generator has a commutator. Commutator is also called split rings, means these are half of the full rings. Okay. So you complete these questions, these are easy. These you can complete, you can write in your notebook for your revision, for your knowledge. Then I will continue these questions from this page, right? So study the chapter carefully, children. If you have already studied the chapter, then you will understand the questions. If you have any doubt, you can ask me. Okay. Thank you. Have a nice day.